Hey everybody, today I'm going to be reviewing the Westling socket trays. I picked up a complete set of these about a month ago after doing a lot of research and seeing a lot of feedback that people have been leaving online saying how much they like these. I did a little more research on the company and found out that they're 100% made in the USA and they're made out of billet aluminum. So I'm not going to run into the same problems with cracking and warping like I did with my plastic socket trays. For the last month, every single day I've been using these and I've had zero problems with them whatsoever. I'm going to show you later on in the video just how well the socket retention works when a toolbox drawer is slammed or they're in a tool cart bouncing around the shop. You're not going to have to worry about the sockets flying off. So sit back and watch how great the Westling socket trays really are. The socket trays that I'm replacing are these Hansen socket trays. I've used these for a long time, and you can see that after a lot of use that the posts begin to snap off of them. The 10mm post and the 6mm post have completely snapped off, and some of the other ones are either bent or breaking. The problem that I run into with these, more so than the post breaking, are that the base is not flat. After a lot of use, it becomes very twisted and distorted, and it's not making complete surface contact with the toolbox drawer liner, and it allows this to slide around. When I decided I was going to replace these, I originally went to Lowe's and picked up their Cobalt brand socket trays. And when I got them home, I was extremely unimpressed because they are very oversized. They're too tall and too wide, and they waste a lot of space inside your toolbox. And the worst part about these is that there is almost no surface contact with the toolbox drawer itself. The only surface contact is around the outer lip. There's a raised panel, and that is what is making surface contact. The entire center of these is recessed, and it is not touching that toolbox drawer liner. So these can slide around very easily depending on how you have them situated in your toolbox. So when I decided these were not going to work for me, I did more research online, and luckily I ran across the Westling socket trays. Because these are machined billet aluminum, they are completely flat across the bottom, and that means that 100% of this surface is making contact with your toolbox drawer liner. So when these are loaded down, it's a lot of weight pressing down, and they're not going to slide around inside your toolbox like the plastic trays would. Okay, what I did was remove the top 3 drawers of the Stanley Vidmar cabinet. The 4th drawer down is the one that I use for sockets, and I transferred the sockets onto the Westling trays. What I'll do now is I'll pull the drawer out and I'll shut it with force. A Vidmar cabinet is going to shut a lot harder than a standard toolbox because of the extremely heavy-duty ball-bearing slides. So all of the force from the drawer shutting is going to be transferred into the toolbox itself and then all of the tools in that drawer. You'll see the socket shake a little bit, but not one is going to pop off of the Westling socket trays. And I'll zoom in a little closer just so you can see firsthand how well they retain the sockets. You can see that they are just barely shaking on the trays and not one of them pop off of the pegs. Okay, what I've done now is I've put the Westling socket trays in a movable tool cart, and I've loaded them down with a mixture of chrome and impact sockets, standard and deep well. And what I'm going to do is roll this cart across the floor, and I'll run it into a shop mat that I put down. The mat actually sticks up about a ½ inch above the level of the floor, and when the casters on the cart hit that, it's going to cause everything inside the cart to shake very violently. So you'll be able to see that even though the tool cart itself hits an object and everything inside shakes, you don't have to worry about the sockets popping off of the Westling socket trays. I'll zoom in a little closer now just so you can see this firsthand. Alright, there I am zoomed in, and I'm going to hit that same mat. You can see that none of the sockets popped off of the Westling socket trays. The pins that they have installed in these do a great job with socket retention. If you want to move the Westling socket trays from the toolbox drawer to your mobile tool cart, it's a very quick and simple process. Just pull one of the trays out slightly and tilt it back, and then you can pick it right up. So I'll start out with the ½ inch drive standards, and I'll move these. Next, I'll move on to the 1/2" drive metrics. And pop these in the tool cart. And if you notice, if you have these at a slight angle, or even if you shake them or stumble pulling them out, all of the sockets are not going to go flying off of this tray. Because the size of the pin retainer fills up the entire bottom of the socket. So where your ratchet would plug in the bottom of the socket, the pin here fills up that entire hole. And once we move the 1/2" drive trays, we'll move on to the 3/8". And then finally, we can move on to the 1/4". And you can see just how quickly you can move all these trays. This has not been sped up at all. This is in real time. And that's how quickly you can move from a toolbox drawer over to your mobile tool cart with the Westling socket trays. Just to go over briefly about my feelings on magnetic pins that a lot of people say that they want to see on these Westling trays. I personally don't feel this is necessary, nor would it be a good option to have, just because a lot of the dirt that is created in a shop environment has magnetic properties, which is metal shavings, rust, things like that. So it's not just standard dirt that gets on your sockets, it does have a lot of metal and metallic properties inside of it. And because the Westling tray has non-magnetic pins, when it comes into contact with that dirt, it is not going to pick up anything. Nothing will stick to these pins, nor to the aluminum surface of the tray itself. If these pins were magnetic, the posts on them would mimic very closely magnetic pickup tools. So if you take the end of a magnetic pickup tool and just cut it off and glued it to the tray, that's what a lot of people say that they would like to see. But let me show you how magnetic pickup tools work with the same dirt that the Westling tray will not pick up. If you take the magnetic pickup tools and just get near the dirt, it's going to jump off of the floor or off of the surface and get stuck right to the end. And then all this dirt and debris would in turn be inside of your toolbox. Well, now you see firsthand just how great the Westling socket trays really are. I'm really glad that I picked up an entire set of these, and I've used them every day for the last month with no issues whatsoever. If you like this video, please click like. If you like my channel, please click subscribe, and thanks for watching.